5,000 in the background. You got
Yeah.
the click funnels,
Bro,
seven figure. Man is a chief.
bro, turning into a YouTuber over here, man.
I love it, man. You're good at it, bro. I've been watching. I've been watching.
I'm trying to, you know how you can use Zoom where like when the speaker speaks, it switch. There you
Yeah.
go. That was so easy. What the fuck? Dude, I'm
SOP
the
it. SOP it.
S get that down. SOP that for me. Click one button. So I'm the most like technically unsavage person ever. I don't know why my tolerance for it is not that high.
Oh, I
Weird,
love
dude.
it, dude. It's like where I spend all my free time. I love tech, man. Just like all the
No
bells and
way.
whistles. Oh yeah, dude.
It's like my dad's the same way. It's like we know when it comes to like figuring out the TVs and stuff, or like how to like put on some shit. We're just like, bro,
Yeah.
like what? So basically, you own Hydra. You guys help
Yep.
agency owners basically with operations. Like what? Just break down for the audience real quick what you guys do.
Yeah, man. So essentially, what we do is we help agencies put an operational infrastructure into their business. So it's a pretty broad phrase to like say like operations, because operation really is defined by five categories. It's lead generation, sales, fulfillment, HR, and finance. And that's what we help agency teams do, is install better operations around those five specific lanes. So we do a lot, but we only do it for agencies. So it's very niche in the people that we serve, but it's very broad in all the activity that we do with the agencies that we work with.
Now that's super solid. So most companies or consultancies don't even go into those aspects of the agency. And so for a lot of people who are watching this video, pretty much everyone's in the agency game, most of my subscribers. And I think it's important that if you're gonna build a real agency, you got to realize it's more than just getting clients and running Facebook ads.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah.
Josh, Josh's company, they actually help, you know, help you become a more like a real agency that can operate with employees and
Yeah. And honestly, a real business. Like that's what we build. Is like we build businesses. Like that's it, man.
yeah, it's
Like that.
a real business. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a, and don't be wrong, like I'm sure a lot of your listeners are probably pretty young. Just like a lot of my listeners are pretty young. Like this space breeds just young entrepreneurs, which is
Yeah.
great. I love that. But there is a business side to the agency that is sometimes a little bit more difficult. And you don't learn this stuff in school. You don't learn it in college. You learn it through experience, right? And so basically, we take very young entrepreneurs and we turn them into actual business people, which is
Yeah.
great.
No, I love it. Build a real asset, build a real company, build something that you can eventually, take a vacation and not freak out, or something that you can eventually sell. So the cool thing is I heard about Josh. We actually we shared a very powerful mentor, not at the same time, but I think at slightly different
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah,
And
we were a little bit before you.
yeah,
I think you started your agency a little bit after us.
yeah. So I'm at this event. I'm at Burn the Ships, for anyone who doesn't know, Judge Graham, Matt Monero, and they're going over these case studies of like people who they've worked with. And he brought up Welling Media, which is an agency, which is Josh and Chandler, I believe.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And so he was just like going through the website and all these things, and like how they basically integrated, everything that we were talking about. And obviously we're an agency, so my eyes were wide open, my ears, I was ready to go, taking notes. Long story short, I think we first met at the Four Media event.
Yeah, agency founders.
Boom. Agency founders. I was like, I know who you are.
Yeah, man.
Just through the grapevine, but super cool, man. Like we both come from probably like one of the most solid mentors I've had. I can honestly attribute a lot of like my seven figure to multi seven figure growth to just, what was in that sort of program and what they
Oh,
were teaching.
yeah, completely. Judge, and Matt, were those mentors, and man, they taught us so much. And I still apply a lot of their principles. One, to the business, the consultancy we run today, but also what we teach our clients. Like we use a lot of the same
Mhm.
principles that they taught us. Obviously, we've adjusted things specifically to digital agencies, but a lot of what they taught us is what I now teach today, which is, hats off to those guys because they gave us the playbook on
Seriously.
building successful business. Because when we came to them, like we were kids, running an agency without understanding how to run a business, and they taught us how to run business.
Yeah, it was the shift between realizing that like to get past like 120, 150K, like you actually had to have a team. And that was the first time I've ever built a team, and everything was just so like off the hip. And we realized like that was not getting the job done. And so I was in desperate need for like real business help. And that's how I came across them. And it's kind of the boring shit that like doesn't get a lot of YouTube views.
Yep.
Right. It's the shit where everyone's like, yeah, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
but
It takes the thing is because it takes time, and it's you have to do it consistently, and you have to like the one page attack and conquer plan. Like we still run that in our business today. For the last 6 years, we've been running it, and so for us, but like every 30 days, we revamp that thing, and we have our new I can't remember what they called them. We call them impact items now. I can't remember what they used to call them, but like the action items specifically for that 30-day sprint. It's like you have to do that every 30 days. It's clockwork. And Matt and Judge always talked about the rhythm. I remember very specifically Judge or Matt pounding their hands that you got to build this rhythm within your agency. And I'll never forget, it was such an intense moment for me, and such a big takeaway that great businesses run on a rhythm. And when they go off the rhythm, that's when the problems arise.
100%. So I think Josh was one of the first people I thought about when I wanted to make this video, because I feel like he's had a lot of experience and he's worked with a lot of agencies. Obviously I run Digital Ox as well. And so I think we're both going to bring some good perspectives to this, but we want to break down like the most successful traits of agency owners. And basically what we can do is you can go, I can go. So there's like two different perspectives here. And I actually thought about this for a second, guys. So I'm sure Josh, really thought about this too. So, legit, I mean, take what we're saying, because this is like, how long have you been in the agency space? How many years?
I've been in the agency space for almost 6 years now, and been consulting for 3 years now. So,
boom. So, I mean,
still young in the space, in my opinion.
Still young, but I mean, combined, we're like 12 years in this.
Yeah.
So dope. Well, let's see what you got. What do you got for me?
Cool, man. So, basically, Stevie asked me to come up with like the 6 traits that I felt were most impactful for agency owners. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones as well, but like these are the ones that come top of mind for me. So the first one was just practitioner. And basically practitioner is just the ability to hone a craft before actually running an agency. And I think it's fine for people to jump in and learn as they go. But I also think there's importance of getting good mentors and getting people in your corner that can teach you how to be a good practitioner of what you want to build your agency around, whether that's paid media, email marketing, content creation, whatever you're trying to do. I think you have to start as a practitioner, and you have to start with a skill set that you can then charge a client for. So working on hard skills like copywriting, marketing, content creation, whatever it is, like you have to hone that craft. And sometimes it's better for you to go work for an agency that's already doing that to help you hone that craft before you start your own agency. So I think the first thing for me, and the one that comes top of mind is, well, you have to be able to deliver a result. So you have to be a great practitioner.
Boom. So I actually, I would have to agree with that, because I think the first, since I didn't come in as a practitioner, and how much suffering happened because of that.
There's a lot, dude. Same here, man. I was the same way. We came in as we didn't know anything, and we were just shooting from the hip.
I'm 30 years old. I got gray. Like I have like 10 gray hairs now. Like, and I think it came from those first 18 months of just like, holy shit, I don't know anything. Like anything. But I need to make it work. So yeah, I think if you can come in with even a year's agency experience, specific in paid media or whatever, you're gonna come in like way ahead of the game than just
Oh,
starting from
you're
scratch.
just you're gonna go faster.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Like you're not
yeah,
gonna spend the first year and a half
yeah,
trying to figure it out. You're gonna have it figured out, and you're gonna be able to launch
yeah,
successfully with people, and you're not gonna have to worry about the refunds and the chargebacks and all
yeah,
of those things that beginning agency owners tend to have to deal
yeah,
with. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with learning along the way. Just know there's higher levels
yeah,
of stress if you don't have that
yeah.
background.
Both are possible, but yeah, I do agree with you. So first one that comes to my mind is a successful agency owner. I think that they do have to be persuasive, influential, and good at sales. Especially when like you want to be really successful. And I'm not just talking about like selling clients. Like, yeah, at first starting your agency, you probably are the person selling your clients. So you're probably going to end up being pretty good at it and have a pretty good foundation. But as you scale like a real company with a lot of employees and you're really trying to get to that 8-figure and beyond level, you're selling ideas, you're selling the vision, you're selling talent who people who already work for other companies to come work for yours. There's a lot of selling going involved and I just feel like something that's really helped us is I kind of had that sales type of um passion, and I just like talking to people. And when I really feel strong about my ideas and where we're going, I feel like I was able to get even our COO right now.
Yeah.
Like we were 20, I was 25, 25. Like we were probably at 30K a month in dire needs of an account manager. He was already fully on his way into a startup called Doctable. And I somehow influenced him and he had to talk to his parents. It was like a big deal, but I got him in and now he's just like, me and him were just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, um,
Do
so
we know?
overall,
Do you know what we call that specifically? That sales terminology, call that conviction. Gotta
conviction,
have conviction, dude. Gotta have it.
literally.
And it transfers to the clients that you sign. It transfers to the team, the people that you're trying to recruit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that strong conviction, man,
Boom.
that's 90% of selling anything.
100%. And as a CEO, you're also a CRO, which I took from a book called The Motive. So CRO is Chief Reminder Officer. So
Patrick
what?
Lencioni, baby.
There you go, baby.
Just freaking love it.
So our jobs in agencies, it's not all roses. There's ups and downs and peaks and valleys. And so you constantly have to be selling alignment, selling different directions, selling the purpose, the strategy, like, and it's legit comes from, you can't be people got to be like, yeah, no, he's freaking leader. We trust him. We're
Yep.
going. And so you got to bring the heat. So that's my first one.
There you go. Love it, man. My next one is communication, ability just to communicate well with team, prospects, clients. Like, this is what's needed in order to run a great agency. You have to be a great communicator. And I think a lot of that also falls back on, the conviction side as well. Like those two run kind of in tandem with one another because you need to be a great communicator and you have to have great conviction for people on your team with your prospects and with clients. So that's my second one, a relatively
Oh,
short one,
I like
but
it.
overall, you have to be a great communicator.
You really do. There's so much going on in the agency, like, and along with communication is just communicating effective, fast, prompt, like just real non-fluff communication too. I like to install that within my team. Like
Get to
you
the
could
point.
say you could say it in 10 seconds versus
Yep.
the minute. Say it in 10.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to hurt feelings. Like we're here to get better.
Yep.
Nothing is meant to be personal in any regard. Take the feedback, even if you're the leader, take the feedback, do what you can to make the adjustment and keep moving. Like speed. That's what it comes down to. Great communication equals speed.
100%. So my second is basically, we call it leadership. I like the concept of being a 10x leader, not like in the words of Grant Cardone, but almost like the way I saw it is if you can really like help your team members and department leads become really good at their jobs, meaning like you can be in the trench and you can really stay in there and get them to where they need to be, to where they completely out on their own handling the department. I think the agency grows so much faster because you're able to like take someone from doing the job to then being able to make their own decisions
Mm.
within the job, because you've been able to really have that like solid, whether it's like a 30, 60, 90-day sort of trainings. And there's so much time that goes into this, man. Like I've found myself so immersed in every department in our organization, um just like basically me going out on my own, grabbing all the resources, reading so much, finding the best people to listen to, creating my own game plan, and then having them in combined with all this knowledge that I'm putting together. So
Yeah.
everything that I'm like gathering is now going to them, and then we're really thinking about it and then thinking about the department. And I felt like it was so much work, but man, I felt like when we finally checked off on the strategy of like, okay, this is how we're going to do it, like we all realized like this is coming from really strong sources, is really credible. So um I don't know, man. I think your ability to basically make your team really good
Yeah.
at their job is going to play a big role in how big you get and how less of headaches you have too.
Yeah. Well, dude, that actually works directly into one of my points. It's not the next one, but I want to touch on it because we're already on the subject of coach, right? Like that was one of my points. Is like you have to be a great coach within your organization, someone who could teach skills to a team at a high level and motivate them to carry the vision forward, right? Some of these
100%.
skills your team's not going to come in with, and the trap that most agencies fall into is they hear this famous word delegation. And
Cool.
it's a very dangerous word
Oh yeah.
because delegating without coaching is very dangerous for your business, right? And so I think a lot of times we see delegation and people say, okay, this is the time where I get to lean back out of leadership, right? But
Yep.
it's actually the time we should be leaning into leadership with more intensity because
100%.
your team needs coaching, your team needs more guidance when you start to delegate to them. So I like that you said 10x leadership, 10x coaching. That's what it's all about.
That's 100% it, guys. Like the delegation part where you fall back, man, like I don't know if that's in the 4 hour work week or whatever those books are, but you can catch yourself in a lot of trouble, with that type of mindset. And so um you also bring in the so I think at first too is we all got to realize is like we're all starting pretty bootstrapped. It's like this is our first agency, maybe second. Not everyone's going to come in with all the bells and whistles and the skill
Oh,
sets. And even if they did, you still need to be there for accountability and overall, like, you still need to be there. But at the
yeah.
end of the day, be a good coach, be a good leader. And yeah, I think we hit it.
Boom.
All right.
Do you want
So
do you want to go for this next one? Because I hit mine, one of my points already.
yeah, here we go. So this one is more of how the pace and how you act. And it's kind of like the number one core value that Judge kind of put on us. And I think a trait of a successful agency owner is just moving with speed, having urgency, and being decisive, and really just kind of creating a culture around like making decisions. Obviously think about the decision, but when you make it and move fast. And then
Yep.
just having this sort of culture where it's like, let's get shit done. Like,
Yeah.
let's get shit done.
Speed all day, every day, right? That's the value right there.
And you got to get used to it at first, right?
Yeah.
You got to like train the whole team to realize like we move quick. And then it almost turns into a muscle where nowadays I think that word just brainwashed me and just to literally just becoming way, way faster. It's kind of
Yep.
weird. That's what
Oh,
core values kind of do though. You start talking about the core values and then you realize, wow, like
yeah.
actually think about these things, and I don't know, man.
Exactly. Well, what's crazy about this too is it's funny because we made these lists kind of separately and then we just sent them to each other. And it really falls into my next one, which is essentialist, right? Essentialism. And I think speed and urgency and decisiveness makes you an essentialist. And if you guys aren't familiar with essentialist or essentialism, it's basically your ability to eliminate distraction, stay on the mission, stay focused on the most crucial items that your company is delivering, right? And speed, urgency, decisiveness makes you an essentialist, right? Because you have to really prioritize the most impactful items that your agency is moving on a day-to-day basis. Otherwise, you get bogged down, you start moving slow. And one of my favorite quotes, and I think it's either McKinsey, which is a massive consulting group. One of their big slogans is we make slow moving companies fast again, right? Speed, efficiency, right? It's all about working on the most essential items first. And if you guys have never read, where is it? Somewhere on my bookshelf right here. This is one of my most battered books right here. This is a constant read, Essentialism. Man, this teaches you how to drown out all of the nuance, all of the noise in the day-to-day, and really just focus on the things that actually matter, that move your business forward.
Yeah, so that one stood out the most to me out of your list. Because when I read it, I was like, damn, this is a freaking good one, because like you have to really pick your battles and like really understand what you're going to tear up, like what's going to be your thing. And once you figure it out, like less is more. We're all in right here with speed, with coaching, with leadership, with sales, but on this thing, not all these things that are going on. And yeah, we'll do that. And yeah, we'll do that. And we'll do all this thing. And then we become.
Well, that's the thing is, and it's such a cliche term, but it's so true, that time is our most valuable asset. And this is particularly true with agency owners, because what do we do inside? Like, what do we deliver inside of our agency? Well, we deliver services that take time. We trade time for money as an agency service. So for everyone listening, you have to become an essentialist, because your time is literally money. Your team's time is literally money that they could be producing more revenue for the business. So this point, in my opinion, is one of the most important ones out of our entire list here, is, that speed, that essentialist type mindset that will allow you to take on more work and to be able to produce more revenue for yourself and your clients.
Yep. And it doesn't bog down operations. You become an expert in the specific things that you want, and then you can charge higher price points. And then you can just really be the industry leader in your specific type of thing by not saying yes to everything and really just being like the best at maybe 1 to 2 things. If you're going to add on something, you almost have to have a really good argument in our agency to add something on. Like, it's got to be completely a real good argument, because we already know how much complexity goes into adding on something additional.
Yeah. Crazy. More systems, more operational complexity.
Gosh.
It's like simple scales. And so that's the power of this right here, is like, when you are an essentialist, when you have an essential business, then you guys have simplicity, and simplicity stacks really easily.
Dope. So my next one is, this one kind of changed my life. And it's just being an agency owner who is innovative. Like, they have the mind, and they understand the importance of like knowing that what we currently have can be better. And when we constantly put energy on like how we can continue to get better client results, how we can continue to improve client communication, how we can continue to improve employee retention, how we can, like, we're always looking at these super important metrics, but I think the most important ones, especially to really get off the ground, is the results your clients get, and really innovating on the service and your strategy on how you service clients. When you put a lot of energy there, and the whole culture and the whole team is wrapped around the thing that you're selling, then you really kind of have this sort of one up on a lot of people. Because I don't think a lot of agency owners or people invest a lot of time and resource and like consistently trying to raise the bar that really benefits the client. So that's mine.
Yeah. I mean, innovation is always so key, right? It's why Toyota is such a a magnificent company, right? They develop that Kaizen culture, right? Always improvement, or always improving, or striving for always improving their systems, right? So, I mean, some of the best companies in the world have the best innovators, right? So if you want to continue to grow as a business, if you want to continue to bring the best service possible, you have to have a team of innovators. So I'm in alignment there. Yep. My next one was it resilience? Yeah, resilient. Ability to be emotionally unattached from the outcomes. Inputs lead to outcomes. And this is one of my favorite ones because I know so many people that we coach personally that they get so disappointed with the outcomes from their agency, right? The results, the monthly number, right? We only hit this much revenue. We only hit this much profit. Well, let's not focus on the outcomes. Tell me about your inputs, right? Tell me about what resulted in getting you the outcome that you didn't want, right? And we have to be emotionally unattached from those outcomes because it really comes back to the action, right? It comes back to the action, the inputs that we put into the business. And so for us, like, we need to be emotionally unattached from that and be able to reverse engineer why were the outcomes that we got, the undesirable outcomes, why did that happen, right? And what happens is sometimes we get too emotionally caught up into our outcomes when really all we have to do is reflect back on the inputs and make those changes, right? And if we have the healthy inputs, then we get the healthy outputs.
So I 100% agree. It's like, it's just, maturity and being emotionally stable, especially in the beginning, like resilience is like, that is the word, because you could send 1,000 emails, you can do all this stuff and still end up with a goose egg. And the people who continue forward from that have what?
Resilience.
Oh my God. It's like, and even as you're even further and further down the road, revenues, profits, you're striving, for example, to bring churn down to a specific number. Say you're striving the whole company to get 3% churn. And for the past 6 months, you're at like 5% and you're trying all these things, right? And it's just like, wow, like it's really testing that muscle. But I don't know, man. I think that was my number 6, to be honest. I put disciplined, resilient.
Yeah.
Because over time, you keep doing the thing and you keep doing the thing and then you keep doing the thing. And then out of nowhere, the answers kind of just start popping up. And so if you're not resilient and you're soft, then you don't make it to the stages of where the answers start to blossom right in front of you because of all the hard work and all the resilience that you brought to the table.
Yeah, man. We call it we have a saying in our consultancy of like we're proud that we can bang our head on the desk until we figure it out. Like we'll just figure it out, man. Like we'll stay there until it's done, right? Like we just are so resilient. Like if we find a problem and we can't cross it, we're going to use every resource at our disposal to figure out how to get past it, right? And it's like that, bang your head against the keyboard until you figure it out, man. Like that's what it takes.
This isn't like the mindset realm, guys. Don't think mindset's mindset is a lot of building a successful company agency. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that perspective, I love using the word perspective because you say we're happily banging our heads against the table, where some people could be banging their heads against the table and just completely in stress. And it's all just a shift in perspective on what you're actually doing. And so, kind of like that analogy.
Absolutely. And then I just have one more. Last one was egoless, which I don't even know if that's an actual word, egoless, but no ego, right? Leave the ego at the door. Ability to have success, but act like it's your first day. Man, for me, unfortunately, I suffered from a little bit of this. We hit that first $1 million, year, then we hit the 2 million, then the 4 million, and you're like, dude, we're crushing, bro. And all of a sudden, you get a little complacent, and you start to stop doing the things that got you to where you were. And so you have to check the ego at the door and pretend like it is your first day. Like you are the freshman on the varsity squad and you got to earn your keep every single day. So that was my last one.
No, I like that. It's true though. I mean, you get comfortable, you get wiped out, you know. So
Exactly.
dope. So my last one, and I found this to be extremely important. I should have done it earlier, but I think a successful trait of an agency owner is being very organized and KPI driven. KPIs tell you exactly how well or how terrible you're doing in every department within the KPI that actually matters, that moves the boat faster. And so if you're not even tracking these numbers, you don't even know where you're going.
Yeah.
And so once you track the numbers, you got to be organized. Like you turn into this organized thing that's just like the numbers need to be accurate. They need to be there. We review these things every single week or month. And we're so in tune with the numbers because KPIs are just a pure reflection of how well the business is doing. And so if you're not obsessed with understanding like the metrics, then you're kind of just, it's just not what we've been taught. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just got to be organized. So main KPIs for you guys, you're probably like, what KPIs? Well, first off, have monthly P&Ls. Look at them. Look
Yeah.
at the monthly P&L. What's all the labor costs? What are the software? What's your net profit? Right. Another super important one, track churn. Churn is a direct reflection in how well your product is or service is in your market. Like how it's a direct correlation to like how well your market is basically liking what you're selling or if it's even helping them or not. So that's a super important metric that we track so closely in our agency because I think it's one of the most important metrics, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, completely.
It's just obsessive, it's like, because that means, how effective is the thing that we are selling?
Yeah.
That metric will tell you straight up.
Completely. Man, I love this one. And this is something that I always harp on with a lot of our clients is if you don't know your data, you're just gambling, right? You might as well go to the casino, put your money on black or red because that's truly what you're doing because you're not making informed decisions about your business, right? You don't know actually what the problems are unless you know the data of the business. So, I mean, you might as well go play some craps, man. I mean, it's just as effective in my opinion, right? So, get those KPIs down, know the data of your business in and out. If you guys are getting into a scaling phase, knowing your sales numbers is so important. Leads into conversions, right? Your ability to actually book the calls with them, their show rates, like all the way down to the nitty gritty details, closing percentages, offer percentages, all of those things, man, like that stuff is going to make things so clear and it's going to give you more predictability within your agency, right? And that's what we look for is predictability. So we understand how we scale appropriately, when to bring on new teammates, when to, hold off on our hiring process, right? It's one of the hardest things to balance in an agency is your ability to hire new talent, but also keep your margin, right? It's so difficult. But if you know your data, it becomes simple.
100%. Love it. Sweet, man. Well, that was dope.
Honestly, I don't know how we could have dropped any more value in a 30-minute call than this right here. I mean, come on now. This is good stuff. It's Johnston squared, man. There's power in it.
Dude, Josh is my brother from another mother.
Brother from another mother, dude.
Same last name. I was like, oh shit. But plug you have an event coming up. When's the dates?
Yeah, April 28th and 29th. So coming up relatively soon, but we actually do these events twice a year. So April 28th, 29th, tickets are on sale currently. You can find them at workwithhydra.com. And then if you guys want to get in contact with me or have specific questions for me, you could follow me at Joshi Kobayashi. It's kind of hard to spell, so hopefully Caitlin can work some magic here and drop a little link to my bio there.
I'll plug the links in the description. I was at the last one, guys. Super dope. Bunch of 6, 7, few 8-figure agency owners. A lot of knowledge being shared around. Great views. So I'll leave it in the in the whatever. But overall, guys, like it, subscribe, leave comments, and yeah, that's it.
See you in the next one.
That's right.